Or do that.
Let me see that. The phone, son. All right. Just waiting for a couple more people to pop in here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know where they are. They lost them. All right, so while we in the process of waiting, how many of y'all listen to that? Listen to that new Vince Staples. Tell me what y'all think about that. But obviously, for those of y'all who don't be over on the barbershop, I haven't heard what I already had to say about it. Okay. Hold up. I'll be right back. I just gotta plug something in the plug real quick. I'm gonna just say this right off rip, because it's all but assured to get, you know, to be on the short list for all of those year in the award list and whatever and whatnot. I just hope it don't get the Igor treatment. You know what I mean? Because this is not it's not a rap album. You know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing, like at all. But you know, evidently niggas don't know how to make nothing. Niggas don't know how to do nothing but rap, even when they not rapping. So you dig what I'm saying? I had said over on the barbershop that if you was around like during that whole garage rock revival era, specifically like if you was into stuff like the Black Keys or like John Spencer blues explosion, like stuff like that. It sounds a lot like that, like the Strokes, you know what I mean? So it's not rap, you know what I mean? All right, so while we waiting, all right, hold on. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back once again. All right, so I guess while we waiting for this nigga to come on, cause I guess he got some things to get off his chest about this game. I ain't gonna hold you, dog. Um, and I had said this before, is that this team very much has that 2017 Eagles energy to it, where it's just like God has smiled down upon the entirety of the New York tri-state. So that's like what everything between like Hartford and like New Brunswick. Like everybody that lives within that uh I don't know how far a drive New Brunswick is from Hartford. Gotta be like 2-3 hours, something like that. But everybody within that space says that thou hast suffered for long enough. Y'all's time and y'all season has met and has created y'all's destiny. Literally nobody's gonna get that reference except for my wife. I don't care. I'm gonna say it because it's funny to me. So there you go. But I was genuinely annoyed watching that game. Genuinely annoyed. Genuinely annoyed watching that game. Not even based on the Knicks.
Wait, I can't hear you yet. I'm working on it.
Hold on. Your mic. All right. Okay, so you can't hear me. All right, gotcha. But for real, I'm not even a Knicks hater like that. To keep it a bean, I haven't really had a reason to hate the Knicks. You feel me? So just by virtue of my inherited Philly sports fandom, I'm obligated to hate all things New York. You know what I mean? They better have left De'Aaron Fox in New York. They better have left. Yeah.
Listen, that man got free hookah, free bacon, egg, and cheese, all he want. I hope that poly market bet came through. Man, whatever the fuck was happening.
That man, I promise you, he got free bacon, egg, and cheese. He got free, what they said on the thing, he got free street meat for life. He got free halal cart meat for life. For life.
They saying, I don't know if you already talked about it. They saying they took off the flight without him. They treated that man like Home Alone. They said, listen, you can walk, my guy. After that, because like let's really get into it. Let's really talk about it, because if you talked to me yesterday, Bill, which is when you reached out, I was, you know me, you know what I say at the end of everything, be kind. And you know, my first instinct was like, you know what, is a team effort. I woke up on it today. I woke up on it today, not even mad, because I don't got a dog in this fight. I don't really got a dog in this fight, right? Like, but I love the Spurs. I got even more mad because I was like, actually, it's actually insane what you did. Not even on that possession. Like that. That's one thing. Because I was talking to a friend about it. That whole half. And let's be real. I
was sitting there mad. Like, y'all.
Let's be real with the series. I kept looking at my watch, waiting, because Harrison Barnes showed up to work. Right? Harrison Barnes did his job as a vet. I'm sitting there looking at my watch, saying, "I can't wait for De'Aaron Fox to show up, right? Because that's really going to elevate this team to have, you know, even though he doesn't, I don't think he has any final. I can tell he don't have no finals experience. At least having that veteran presence at the one spot is going to help calm them down. Little do I know, this nigga's the kryptonite." Little did I know the gas leak was inside the house.
The reason they and the wild part about it is for as goofy as that have, because I said, all right, logic would dictate that the Spurs are going to hang on, even by the skin of their teeth, they're going to hang on, which they would have, if not. And
they was giving them chances too. Josh Hart, we see you. Josh Hart, you got lucky. Josh Hart, you was about to be out of a job.
I was telling my wife that really the record should be flipped. It should be San Antonio up 3-1. But it's because the last 50 seconds of a game two. The first game was like, all right, yeah, the Knicks got it. Mm-hmm. From pillar to post. The second game and I already told you how much I hated the last 50 seconds of game two.
Oh yeah.
I hate that so much.
How game two ended again?
So the Spurs inbound, Wemby pulls up from 15 feet with like 7 seconds into the shot clock. Pulls up from like 15 feet. New York gets the rebound. They come back down the other end. Brunson also shoots a midi, but he misses it. They I think they got the offensive. Yes, they had to. They got the offensive board. Brunson makes one of two. So now the Knicks are up 1. Then that's when that fiasco with Wemby and Stephon Castle in the back. And it's like, even it's so much stuff that could, if you hit one of them free throws, Victor, the two that he missed if you hit one of them free throws, y'all at least going to OT. If you do not settle for, you are 7'5", you are the tallest thing on the planet. Why are you settling for? And I get it.
Wait,
can we not letting him get to a spot? Right. I understand that.
I want to go back to the free throws because, like, I think I did send it to our group when I was like, at that point, or like in the second quarter, when Wemby started pointing to the head and started saying, "I'm in your head, I'm in your head," I was like, "Oh my God, we've unlocked dark Wemby, and may God have mercy on all of us for what happens." For those of y'all that watch Naruto, the problem with reaching into your dark energy, the problem with the Itachi way is that it makes you emotional sometimes. And Wemby wasn't emotional before this. And that's why the thought of Wemby missing 2 free throws never even crossed my mind. Nope. But one thing I will say is that, and this will be a whole overarching point that I'll probably keep coming back to, is that this game, for sure, I'll be honest, right? I was texting people being like, man, I can't believe I called the series up to the games, up to game 4. We're 2-2. Both people lost at home. I was ready to pack it in. It's 29 fucking points, right?
29 points.
But at one point, I started watching in real time. I watched every single bucket of that second half, and it was astonishing to, I guess, realize their youth in real time. Because like the way, like these are better athletes than us. These players are smarter than the game that we'll ever be, but they're also 22 and 23 years old. Mm-hmm. And you could see them. Now we're gonna talk about Mitch. We're gonna talk about Mitch Johnson's coaching decisions, his spectacular deep chess coaching decisions that he's making with the squad. But understanding that once we got underneath 2 minutes in the fourth, like suddenly, and the announcer pointed it out, they weren't even sure who they wanted to go to anymore.
Right.
Like they had gone to this extremely disciplined team in that first half.
Ball.
And then they were like, oh, like it's almost like, and the reason why I put it this way is like, you would think if the average age of the team was even 2 years higher, you would have probably somebody in that starting 5 being like, hey, do not let your foot, either please take out the starters, put in the bench when we're up 30, or hey guys, do not let your foot off this gas because we're in the postseason and anything can happen. But instead, I feel like they started wanting to show off. Not, I don't even want to say show off, but like when Victor takes a step back 3 and they're down, only 15, you're like, well, okay, you let it go because they were up 15 and like, yeah, they cut it down from 29, but somebody should be in that room being like, hey, let's not get sloppy, but or let's think about what could happen. But it seems like that moment didn't happen until under 2 minutes when it was 3 points. Right. And like now it's now any person's game. I've also and then on the other side of it, I feel bad about the way that everyone's been talking about this game, because it's kind of hard to talk about. Yeah, the Knicks did win this game, but there was also a 29-point gap. And regardless of what you're saying, is like it's just astonishing that happened in the NBA Finals. But word to Jalen Brunson, mind you, loved him since Villanova, loved him since Mav days, right? Because I'm a short stocky guard, but I ain't catch all the games. That man is Mr. Fourth Quarter. That man is Mr. Fourth. He's not even playing the game quarters 1 through 3.
Nope.
And I'm not even saying that off. Like, this is the first game that I noticed that. This is just the first game where I was like, the pattern recognition is caught on. I was like, oh, he can just do it. It's not. He's not like he just has the gear, and he's not showing you that gear. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's trade DeAndre Fox, or like literally. Nah, you gotta trade DeAndre. You got DeAndre. You gotta trade De'Aaron Fox, because like I still don't understand. Do you have, like, even as a devil advocate, any sort of rationale for knowing it's 15 seconds left, you're up 1, shot clock is off? I can't stress this enough. Shot clock is off, and you're trying to score.
Panic. That's literally the only thing. That whole fourth quarter just felt like panic mode for the Spurs. That's what they were playing, panic ball, shooting panic threes. Like it.
Well,
that's the only expert, because I can, it's bad. It's bad when, what's old boy with the long hair, the streamer that clown Sneeko that one time?
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. It's bad when he get on there and he got a video that say this is the dumbest basketball play I have ever seen.
And then the response, like, I was like, I'm not gonna listen. I made a whole video along with it was on the face about Vince Staples, but it secretly was about NBA, because that's the only way I can get y'all leftists to hear about it sometimes. But I talked about the Giannis effect, right? Like I'm gonna be the first one to defend a player's response to something not going their way. Like, I'm not gonna police. I don't want to police how they're going to respond to it. However, there are exceptions to every rule, because when I don't know if you saw it, when asked like, okay, so walk me through those last couple of seconds. They were like, he said, I just thought I could beat him. That was it. He thought he could beat 7 foot 13-inch wingspan OG Anunoby. Also, when in 15 minutes, he thought it was safer to get this bucket, a contested bucket, than just getting fouled. So either you're telling me you think your free throws are trash, you're lying to me, or you getting traded. I don't. You want to hear a crazy stat though? Because like the thing I want to pivot towards is I want to pick up on your point when you were like they were taking a lot of panic threes. The panic threes didn't even seem like panic threes when you take the whole context of the game, because that entire game was full of threes, right?
Yeah.
As a God, I mean, I hope this does kill.
I don't want to hear the calculator ball argument.
No, yeah, I'm about to say I hope this kills.
Not do basketball over here.
I hope this kills the 3-ball era, because as a Celtics fan, right?
That's what I want to hear.
As a Celtics fan, this felt like PTSD. Right, like watching this live by the 3, die by the 3, like happen in real time was crazy. San Antonio hit 14 first half threes, finals record. Right, most of them coming from Harper balling. Like Harper actually stayed balling the entire the entire game. I think it's Castle that started.
He was the best Spur last night.
How you take a guess right now? Chat, take a guess too. How much did they shoot? What was their field goal percentage from 3 in the second half, do you think?
I know it was like 60% in the first. So it had to be like what, 12?
3 for 17 from 3 in the second half.
And that's the thing. That's why I was so pissed off watching that. I was so mad because logic would dictate that eventually you're going to regress to the mean. You are not going to continue to shoot 60% from 3 for the duration of the night. So once your shots start going cold, now you got to pivot and say, all right, now we got to open up opportunities for our best player. We got to find a way to, matter of fact, use your shooters. Or you
remember how you have the second round draft pick that you somehow swindled, who's right now just shot a NBA Finals record from the 3-point, and suddenly, I mean, honestly, I don't mean to keep punching down on Fox, but like the flow of the offense did get stopped because once they were up, like Fox was trying to find his shot, he was trying to drive in and like listen, it wasn't always going in.
I don't understand how you played De'Aaron Fox for that long, looking at the way that things were going. Well, and it's not even necessarily so much about Harper getting his own shot off, but it's about the fact that he's the only one that seems to be effective right now. So use his gravity to give Wemby an opportunity where he can just catch and shoot. Just lob and let that is like that Steph Curry floater from back, like the most indefensible shot in the NBA right now is that Wemby lob.
You would think, but low key in this series and towards the end of OKC, like they found a way to neutralize it, mostly because they what's that thing they do in tennis, an error, a self error or whatever the fuck, because like the only way the Wemby lob doesn't work is if he gets a bad he gets hit bad inbound or a bad oop, or he gets too much contact going towards the rim. And I feel like here's the real thing to talk about. The truth thing this series has exposed is, one, the importance of the mid-range game, going back to how I'm glad I think we might be sunsetting the 3-ball era, but also, does Wemby not have a mid-range game? To be honest, like if we go off straight eye test of what's going on right now against the competition he's going against, I think they figured out. They were like, okay, Wemby wants to either get 5 feet within the basket, obviously, or within like 7 feet within the basket, or if he doesn't feel like if he doesn't feel like he can do that or wants to do that, he wants to shoot a 3. Like he doesn't want to put his back to the basket. He doesn't want to do any turnarounds. He doesn't want to do no sky hooks. And he doesn't feel comfortable with that shot for whatever reason, and they're exploiting that. And on the opposite way around, the reason why it's so emphasized or accentuated is because who's really fucking good at the mid-range game? Jalen fucking Brunson. Right? It got the fucking Giant Slayer badge, right? Because that floater is automatic. Those bank shots are very reliable. And I think it's crazy that Wembanyama is not able or chooses really not to try to exploit those same shot opportunities, because I think honestly he should have the greatest access to them, taking up all that space, or that would be the perfect counter to not being able to go inside, right? Like, it's okay, you're gonna stop me inside, let me give you this turnaround, let me give you a fade from the high post. But he wasn't doing that. He was settling for threes way too long into this game. And I also think here's the other thing I'm going to put on the table, because I don't know if I landed the plane on this other thing yet. Did you notice the defense? Now we're going to get to you, Mitch. Right? I understand you up 29. I understand you're up double digits, right? And so it's fun and nice to go into a little zone to be like, hey, we don't need to guard them on man. We don't need to play man-to-man coverage anymore. Once we hit about 5 points differential after you've blown a 25 point,
even before that,
why are we still playing?
Once y'all got past 20, now that's when you should have tightened up. But you know what it was? Is because nobody was hitting shots but Jalen and OG. So they did, what they did? They played the same game that they did against OKC and where they said anybody but Shea. Mm-hmm. We're going to challenge, we're going to dare you. Like Josh Hart, if you want to hit that, if you want to shoot that 3, all right, I'll live with you taking that shot. You may have a night like you did the other day, but I'm gonna take my chances. But as long as we don't get Brunson hot, we already done found a way to finagle Cat out of the game. So as long as Brunson don't get hot, because none of the rest of y'all has displayed the capacity to take on the reins when he can't do it. Except for OG Anunoby, who somehow we completely forgot about him on the final possession of the game. We completely forgot.
Listen, man. I mean, if
a clear. Oh, my man ran for a 90-yard touchdown straight up the lane.
Literally, though.
I said, I can't believe he just came in completely clean like that. They just, that's why I want to give it.
You remember the big like mash cut of like everyone, all black people hearing they not like us for the first time.
Yeah,
I want that for when OG got that rebound, because that entire scene was so dramatically cinematic no matter which side you want. Actually, obviously, if you want a Spurs side, but like I saw it. I saw, like, you know, the way some people will just say, oh, I saw in his eyes he wasn't ready or the team wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. Like from as soon as the ball, not even as soon as the ref touched the ball, and Wemby's got his head on a swivel, being like, hey, who's getting who? Josh Hart's in the backcourt. They don't know what the fuck is going on. Commentator says they're choosing not to guard the inbound, which I'm not gonna hold you. As soon as he said that, dubious. I was like, you know what? Interesting choice. I guess it makes sense. It wasn't what I was going to do, but hey, I don't get paid millions of dollars. And I'm like, the more important thing is we stop Jalen.
Yeah.
I see Wemby on Jalen. I say, what the fuck is Wemby doing over there? After this nigga just got burned by him. Right now, I'm shocked. I got the Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny's eyes out of my. I'm like, why is he all the way up there? And I realized it's because of that whole fucking miscommunication that they were trying to figure out. Okay, where the hell was? I just knew it was a 3. I can't remember who the hell it was, but like, not that it fucking matters because for some reason, Mitch decides to play this 1-5-4-1 configuration where we're just gonna have 1-7-5 behemoth on the court, and then we're just gonna play the rest with point guards. Because the biggest thing I want everybody to remember when we think about that iconic frame of like OG putting up the last rebound, a picture that no doubt will be on millions of pirated t-shirts at bodegas and framed in several million people's kitchens, is you look at it and you're like, it's the hand of OG levitating over 3 black jerseys, and you're like, you know what number you don't see there? A 1.
Nope.
You don't see a 1 down there at all. And you're and just like where's Waddle, you start saying, huh, that's so crazy. Where is Victor Wembanyama in this photo? And he's fucking 500 miles in goddamn Malibu with his back turned. And you're like, how the hell did Victor get all the way over there? He was never even near the fucking basket. He was too busy guarding the 6 foot flat point guard. For why, I don't know. I guess Fox just gave up, right? I guess Harper couldn't be bothered. Not even Harper. Harper,
Stephon Castle, who's been guarding him the whole game,
could be, and locking him up,
locking him up until the fourth quarter.
That sounds like a coaching thing, because I think somebody else also pointed out that like the double teaming that situation is something that's a schematic choice. So like you get coached to do that, and maybe that wasn't like the best thing to do when you know you have a rebounder coming into crash. Of course, like, okay, the only nuance I'll give anybody here is thinking of the time of the shot and like what that rebound was going to be, right? Because it's either Wemby blocks it, or in most people's calculation, it's either Wemby blocks it or Jalen swishes it, no hit, doesn't hit off the rim. It hit square off the back of the rim, straight, so a person running full speed towards the rim could get that shot. Unlucky. My counter, of course, is it would be great if you had somebody that was like really big that could box out that person. And I wonder where we could have gotten that. But I guess we'll never know.
My counter is don't go for a layup when the shot clock is off.
My thing is don't play a zone when you're only up by 15 and they're hitting shots.
I still keep coming back to that. I still keep coming back to the fact that regression of the mean says that y'all are going to start running cold eventually. And then when you do, you don't have a plan for it. That's the thing that threw me, is that y'all didn't have a plan for it.
Do you think they kept them in too long? Because I wasn't sure. Because after a while, I did start like doing second string activities, and like I wasn't like keeping track of the lineup. Like I saw Cornette was in there, but then I remember like Cornette was in there for a while, was only in there for like 85 seconds and then came like right back in when they were up substantially. And like, I'm not even saying just a Wemby thing. I do believe, even though we think it's less entertaining, or it like say this was still the same result, we're like, oh, why did you put the bench in? I do think the reason why it's proper form that you put the bench in during a large deficit is like let the bench lose the lead, because then we have rested stars to come back in and like not feel like that's on them, right? Like feel like they're in control. But I
feel like you do that and then you run the risk of losing momentum, and then you got to bring them back in cold. You know what I mean? And you get them out of rhythm, and now they got to come back and then try to somehow find their shot after they sit and now they got cold legs.
I think that's way more controllable, because when you're up that much, you can take them out, and then if it does get down to low double digits, now like you don't have to wait until it gets to single digits, right? You can because the biggest thing that I'm looking at that I thought was not hilarious but like astounding when they showed it after the game was the Spurs outscore the Knicks. It's like 41-25 in the first quarter, and then like 35-27 in the second quarter. They get a little bit closer. The Knicks then basically like outscore what does it go? Is it 50%, 100%? They score twice as much as the Spurs in both quarters of the second half, right? So at what point in that I think it's okay to lose the third half to the bench, right? Like there was a point in that third quarter where I'm like, okay, y'all shouldn't even had the starters in for that quarter, right? Y'all should have waited for it to get a little worse or to understand what the situation was before. Don't let people get tired. Don't let people get in foul trouble, because we haven't even touched on that yet, right? That I do think some of the some of the decision-making changes when Wemby has was it 4 fouls? I think he either got the 3 or 4 fouls. And then we don't know how the officiating is like gonna go with him risking another flagrant and then getting suspended. Maybe things like that like do impact his willingness to like go inside. But yeah, like I honestly do want to hear more thoughts on whether or not it is like what are you supposed to do when your team is super up at that amount, but it's a playoff game?
I'm thinking that. So I was thinking two things, right? Is that in the back, because I had this in the back of my mind, is that we saw this movie before. Like literally last round, we saw this movie before when they did it to the Cavs. Mm-hmm. I mean, the difference being that there's a big difference between, the Cavs where your 1B is 39-year-old James Harden and now this Spurs team. I mean, there is a difference, but still, it's like, all right, there's that part. And then the other part of it is that my expectation was that they were saying to themselves, okay, put your foot on their neck, kill them off now. Do not give them, you take their heart, do not give them hope, because if they can find a way, and this is why I said to myself, is that if they can find a way to get this lead under, well, when we were coming up on the half, I said, all right, if they can find a way to get this lead down to the teens, then they're going to have some life. In the third, it was like, all right, once you get for me, it was like once the lead kept going back, between 17 and 14, 17, 13, 15, 12, however much, whatever. Again, I can't get off these threes. That's my thing. I can't get off of the egregious amount of 3-point shots that were being taken
from people that had no right to shoot the threes. Important to put the asterisks, right? And like, listen, and yeah. I think let's put it like this. I've been enjoying the framing of every GOAT needs an origin story. Like literally, this happened. People are making the joke about if the Knicks win this, it's going to be like when Dirk won his chip, where like it really counts for two. It's like, listen, when the Mavs beat the Heat, when Steph loses to LeBron, just like people are talking about the Cavs being up 3-1.
Lost to Isaiah.
Exactly, like they're hard. The thing they actually all have in common is they lost due to inexperience.
Yeah,
and people like LeBron, people like Michael, people like Victor, they don't make the same mistake twice. And so I do think, like, I'm seeing his reaction, and like, he's in his Buddha mindset, and he's like, we taking it game by game. But I did enjoy seeing him like tap a little bit more into the aggression. And I think what he's realizing is like, okay, there's like a moderation there, or like he doesn't. Actually, let me not get away from my point. Because what I'm actually trying to go towards is like Victor taking them step back threes, even when they're super up, was youth, right? Yeah. Like I can tell next season, even when there's a 20-point deficit, he's like, okay, we're gonna cement it even more. I'm gonna hit the inside even more. I'm gonna get them into foul trouble. That way, there's no way they don't even have the personnel to come back. Because that's what I would have done, right? Like inevitably, I thought what the plan was, and they succeeded in the first half really well, was to say, okay, they're basically playing a 3-center lineup, try to deal with Wemby. Okay, fine, we're gonna get him into foul trouble early. Cat comes in, gets 2 fouls in 3 minutes or 3 fouls in 2 minutes, like one of those. Got to take him out.
He started out the game with like 2 fouls and like the first 3 minutes of the game.
Right. And like they did the same thing with Mitchell Robinson to get his ass out. And I was like, you know what? That's a way, like that was working. And then suddenly they were like, okay, cool. We're just gonna like we're mentally in their head, not knowing they still in the Garden. Okay, because one thing, not to do a slight pivot, because let's talk about the Garden. I'm not mad. I am man. It's just great basketball. Like quick pause to say, man, great fucking hoops that we're experiencing. Because I had a whole write up ready to be like, man, seeing how silent Madison Square Garden got, like when they were at the pit of the deficit, like they couldn't get nothing going. Commenters are talking about anything else but the Knicks. And I was like, and I was gonna say, like, this is the problem, like it's only rich people in there. They ain't really, they ain't no real hoop fans. It's supposed to be hard to play in the Garden, and like, man, like what a moment to like silence the Garden. That team was like, this is supposed to be the moment when you're like, okay, my team is so down, I'm on some Dragon Ball Z shit, giving them my energy. But turns out that whole team, New York. Right, that whole team just always had that dog in them and said, "Cool, on some Ali versus Sonny Liston." Was it Sonny Liston that did that shit too? But he was like, "I'm gonna just keep punching us, drain yourself." Because I think I just saw somebody say, like, "Yeah, you can't be playing Wemby 40 minutes." Like, like this isn't my player, even though he plays like it. Unfortunately, this is not NBA 2K, and you can't just turn down the fatigue markers. Like decision making goes down. Because also, let's talk about. I mean, we got to talk about some of them turnovers. Some of them turnovers were baffling. They were baffling in a way that, like, now that I have time to sit back with it, I'm like, man, you gotta remember their kids.
Exactly.
Not even a condescending way, just like you doing something for the first time.
The most telling part about it, for those that's watching that on the group chat that we make a reference to, FD is in that chat, and FD don't know ball from Bill. He don't. And FD says in the group chat, I don't know what I'm watching, but I'm just going to assume that I'm just going to chalk this up to youth because there's a lot of silly turnovers. It's a lot of, they just, and so my thing is that when So when somebody as casual as FD can clock that tells you all that you need to know. That's ultimately the deciding factor in this series. Is youth, is kids that ain't never been. Because again, you got to understand that this is like in New York in a lot of ways. It's like a collection, an island of misfit toys.
Yes.
Team.
It's almost like the mirror opposite of how the Spurs were built. When you
exactly.
Really yeah.
The Cat was supposed to be soft. Cat was supposed to be the problem why Jimmy couldn't get no ring in Minnesota. Jalen Brunson was overpaid way too much money to be built around. They gave up 5. Remember, everybody was clowning the Knicks for trading 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. So they are island of misfit toys, and they know what it's like to overcome adversity individually, and then collectively at the same time. That's just their mindset. Is that if we don't do it now,
it's not happening. We don't got time. There's nothing more dangerous than a group of people that don't think they got time left.
Right. If we don't do it now, it's like that 08 Celtics team. This is our goal tonight. If we don't do it, we ain't going to do it.
That's a beautiful way to put it. That's a beautiful way to put it, Bill. Because after that win, especially after it ended, I literally took a step back out of my chair, turned to my friend, and said, I'm sorry I was trying to get in the way of destiny. Because because 2-0, I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun to see Wemby have to go through this. I'm still because I hate New York. I hate the New York Knicks. Like, mind you, like, don't get it twisted, right? Like, I love coming on in friendly barbershops such as Bill's barbershop. Go ahead, follow, as well as the main channel and the Bill Talk Ball. But like, it's always fun New York, right? However, just like a great anime arc, sometimes the characters are so compelling, you can't help but root for them. And like, I don't really want the Knicks to get a ring, but I desperately need Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG, Cat, and fine, Josh Hart can also get a ring, right? Like, and this is really what I'm coming towards is that, as you don't want no basketball, but we gonna talk X's and O's though, because what's beautiful about the Knicks is that the pass and cut basketball that they're playing, I think, is they're able to do it so effectively because it's a bunch of like mid-level veterans. Like, I think it's very important to think about the fact that Jalen Brunson's a year younger than me. Cat's like maybe like 3 or 2 years older than me. These are all like, if they had real jobs, they all be like just starting into the peak of their careers. Like, they just be entering into their managerial positions. And I think in the same way, basketball knowledge wise, unlike Spurs, who like, while they are going to become a great group cohesively because they're going to get to develop concurrently, like at the same time, this is a staff of basically people that have worked at a whole bunch of other jobs before. So they know the game. So now they just have a coach that's like, hey guys, now that since y'all all actually know the game, y'all all have y'all bachelor's degree, we gonna do a little bit of graduate level work. And like, it's working because there's not necessarily a soft spot. Let's say basketball intelligence wise. It's the difference between the idea of, I think I talked about this on the last live stream when we were previewing game 1, that the when people talk about the idea of positionless basketball, actually I'm stealing this from my friend Toye, is not really positionless basketball, it's high agency basketball. It only worked, like the triangle offense only worked when you have 3 people who actually can think through and are able to attack all the different routes. And that's hard, and that's really something that only comes through with reps, aka age. Or aka, let's say, experience. And I think that's truly what is surprisingly so. I don't think any of us really called it out, that this is that, literally, just like you said, that is the true narrative of this finals: youth and talent versus experience and wisdom, let's say.
Basically, what I've been saying for like the past month is there's a difference between being technically correct and being effective. There's a difference. And right now, because on paper, again, on paper, unless you are just by nature a contrarian, on paper, the consensus was whether it's Oklahoma City or now. I will say this is that if it was OKC, we'd probably be having a different conversation because they have that finals experience. But that's a whole different timeline that we ain't never going to get to see. But on paper, whichever one of them teams should have been able to handle this Knicks team just based off of pure firepower. But that's why you play the game. That's why you play it, because the paper, again, the calculator don't account for you missing 2 free throws at the end of the game that could have either won it for you or took you into overtime at the very least, that you was already too gassed to probably play the OT period anyway, but that's a whole nother story. The calculator don't tell you that your $50 million guard, the most senior member of your team, is going to go for a layup with 12 seconds left on the game clock. It don't account for that if you just hold on to the ball and you allow them to foul you,
the AI can't give you a player's presence of mind.
It can't.
It can't.
So there's a difference. I won't say that I'd rather, because sometimes you can just straight up out talent. I mean, I'm an Eagles fan after all. There are times where you can just straight up out talent the ops. But if I could take the football for a second, you see that only got us but so far. Once we got figured out, now what you got to do? Now you can't always just out talent the ops. You can't always just out scheme the ops either. Sometimes it just comes down to that veteran savvy, just that sense of being here before, of just being able to calm down, settle down, and be like, all right, we down 29. We ain't going to get it all back in one shot. We're just going to keep chipping away, and eventually we're going to get there. That comes with experience. That comes from literally, we did this last round. This ain't nothing new. There's a precedent. We've done it before. We can do it. So,
but you know what it really is, and this is what I need. Man, I can just look it up. I have free will, but is this Mitch Johnson's first season, or just first season in the finals? Is he an actual rookie coach?
He was last year. He had came in for Pop. Pop had went out because he had his health stuff.
Right. Yeah. So he came in the middle.
This is his first full season.
Okay. So yeah. The entire thing you really said could really just be positioned, or it could be said most directly to the coach. Because I do think at the end of the day, there's not necessarily a reason why this team couldn't, with his personnel, couldn't have won this game, right? But the personnel needs to be directed, and you could solve a lot of problems with if Pop was there, but if Popovich is there, he's probably he probably understands what to remind the players of. And I'm using this response instead of what I wanted to before. I'm using that response for pretext of what I really wanted to sort of ask, which is it makes you wonder what exactly is Mitch's coaching philosophy. Is he more analytics, or is he more personnel based, if that makes sense? Because it seems like he might be more analytics, but I don't want to just be ageist on account of the youth. But that helps line up some of the substitution decisions, some of those coverage decisions, and to your point, the stats aren't going to show you that, hey, you De'Aaron Fox, even though he's completing the plays, he's just not adding enough per possession. Maybe you need to move Castle up in minutes, and then you just need to figure, or you need to treat De'Aaron Fox more like a JJ Redick type player. it doesn't.
Or you could start Dylan Harper.
Like the stats unfortunately might not tell you that,
right?
But the eye test would. But if you are inexperienced, right, you might feel more comfortable being like, I made my decisions even if they don't work out. Because listen, what we're saying could also not work out. That's just how the game is. It's whoever wants it more.
Yeah.
And like overall, like I keep going back to the narrative. I do think the Knicks just do want, like, this crop just does want it more, and they understand why they're more desperate for it. But an easy or this will be a lesson to this coaching staff of like, okay, we keep a tight ship. This is the reason why Kobe said job's not done. This is the reason why, we just, even though we feel like, okay, shit's going well, we just keep pretending it's not until we're clearly over the hill. And to make it less ambiguous, we therefore, our game plan is centered around that. I think that means we don't start allowing threes. I think that means, more importantly, we allow a lot more time to be drained in the shot clock before taking unnecessary threes. Because that's one thing, right? It's one thing to settle for a three because you're like, hey, look, why not? We got a cushion. But like, why do it 7-8 seconds?
Yeah, that's
right.
That's the thing.
Because that's
you're not even setting up your offense at that point.
And also
they're not even that type of team.
Exactly.
They're not even, so you're not even giving your offense a chance to set up. You're not even giving your best players an opportunity to be putting out. Like I get it from the perspective of, all right, we got numbers. We could do what we want. Let's handle this while we in transition. I get it from that perspective. But again, y'all are not that team. Y'all are slow it down. Find the bet. This has been Spurs basketball for like the past 20 years. Because we want to slow this thing down as much as possible, and we're going to rely on ball movement to get the best shot possible. That has been y'all game quite literally since I was a child. Quite literally since I was in single digits.
But guess what? That's really hard when you can't. It's really hard. Okay, this is when shout out Skip Intro Jackson. He would love this segment I'm about to do. It's really hard to have a slow game when you can't run a horns series, and you can't run a horn series because you only have one real big man in your lineup, right? Like you need a 4 and a 5 to set those high post screens. And yeah, Wemby's gonna be there, like at that 5. But who's the threat on the power forward side? It's Bismack Biyombo, Luke Cornett, but they chose shooters and speed on purpose, thinking they could do. I guess theorizing this small ball plus one tent pole could work, and I guess maybe it might not.
And that's why, because really at this point, we talking about where do we go from here? Is that Luke Cornett's rim protection do not make up for his absolute non-existence for everything else. It does not. So what you got? So if it were me, this is what I would do. I look at that. I would look at how Isaiah Hartenstein handled my best big last year. I would take a strong, hard look at Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. I mean, Mitchell Robinson is not, he ain't going, not like walking double-double, but he's at least going to finish. He's at least alive. Right? You're right. He can at least give you a couple buckets from the dunker spot. That's more than what Luke Cornett going to give you. And then you have a big body defender down there. He can give you quality minutes, even if nothing else. He can give you quality minutes while in those non-Wemby minutes. Right? He's not going to be a negative when Wemby is not on the floor.
Luke Cornett couldn't even, and the reason why I come down so hard on Luke, because they was getting on me in the last live stream about this, and I'm like he literally was a Celtic not even within the last calendar year, right? Or I guess with not even within the last 2 years. That man couldn't even beat Keita for the starting big man, right? And he had like what, like 4 inches on him. But the thing I said when I saw him play back there was like, if he could develop a push shot, like this goes back to the Hardenstein thing. Like, if you could develop a push shot, I think he would be worth whatever his league minimum contract is. He seems to be a really good energy guy. He seems to be like good at like exactly as how you explained him. Just somebody you need to plug in for the non-Wemby minutes, preferably next to a 4 that maybe also helps with some of that scoring reduction that's happening when Wemby's off the floor. But hey, then you could at least when he grabs an offensive rebound, there's a chance he can actually put it back up and score. You know, he's not just there taking up space, and if the ball falls to him, then he can get it. Yeah, I think he's getting better, right? I would say that he's definitely been getting better, because every time I hear you guys say like, oh, he's a defensive beast, he can get you blocks, I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And then I'll go back and watch I'll watch how he's been this season. I'm like, okay, actually, you know what? He's been working with Wemby. Like he actually, like he offers no rim protection, right? But
I mean, the thing is that it's not like, we're not talking about 2010s Rudy Gobert or something. You know what I mean? What Luke Cornett, you can go out and you can get that. You can go. You can go out.
What I want from him. There's like a very like. Could I get some Wizards Martian Gortat? Not even the Suns.
I mean, again, Mitchell Robinson is about to be a free agent. You can go get Mitchell Robinson. I mean, you're gonna have to pay more money, especially based off of this performance that he had in these finals. You can go get you Mitchell Robinson. You could get ball from Portland. But it's a number of defense first fives that you can go out there and get that will at the very least can give you a putback. Luke Cornett can't even give you a putback. You know what I mean? He can give you hustle, but there ain't no guarantee that he's gonna, end the possession with the ball. How many times we see?
And you can hide that in the regular season, but it just gets so exposed in the postseason when the median rises.
It's like playoff baseball. It's too. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking of Robert Williams. That's why I think go out and go get you Robert Williams. Who's a better version of Mitchell Robinson? He's Mitchell Robinson without. Mitchell Robinson can't. If you ask him to get out of the painted area, you might as well be playing with Luke Cornett. Robert Williams at least to give you something on the perimeter. You know what I mean? But it's like playoff baseball. It's two different sports. It's two different things we talking about. I was just so frustrated. Just so frustrated just watching that whole second half. Like it really just looked like, what I was thinking to myself at times too, was like they gave all that they had in that OKC series.
I brought that up. I was worried about whether or not they were going to be gassed. Go 7 games, especially when your opponent swept
physically and emotionally. And they went into that thing saying, all right, this is our finals. This is our debutante. This is our coming out.
And part of me loves that part about the story, because even I got caught thinking this way. Like we do shit on our own. We shit on our own conference a lot. Yep. We're like, okay, well, we all know
with good reason. Let me say that
we gotta deal with we gotta deal with the Pelicans and the Wizards and and even the Bucks, right? It's been like that for a while. One day I think I started a conversation last week on this, but I would love to talk to somebody actually who would know something about the numbers. Like, why is there this specific disparity in the NBA based on coast? It can't just be both location and like corruption, even though I'm sure it's like 85% of it. But what's my point? What was I just saying?
About the East-West disparity.
No, before that.
I forgot.
You were talking. You were talking about something, and then I jumped in. Oh my god!
I was talking about. Oh, that I said that they that they gave all their energy to that Thunder series.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like the fact that that's why I got the disparity of the East and West. Right. Like I think they really did think the fact that and some people did echo this on social media that the fact that the Knicks had swept the next two rounds were not indicative of their skill, but was just like that's just how easy the East was, right? And so seeing them do the 7-game series in such dramatic fashion was like, well, like this is like that. It's been done because there's actually no competition, and the Knicks have not been tested. Turns out, like tested or not, they came prepared. they came prepared with a belt to ass.
Because they came in saying from jump that this is our season. That's why they came in from jump saying that the job is not done. The job is not finished. You know what it. Bringing it back to football again to a certain. It reminds me a lot of how when Philly lost that 22 Super Bowl, then came back 2 years later, and it's like an infamous clip now where they had Jalen mic'd up, basically saying no, it paraphrasing but saying the job is not saying go for it, call the play, call that dagger play. We're gonna kill him right now. We not playing no good because we've been here before. We've been here before, and we know what happens when you give Patrick Mahomes. I don't care how many times we done see him on the ground. If you give Patrick Mahomes any daylight, there is a chance.
That's exactly what I learned about
Jalen. There is a chance.
I was like, oh wow, oh he just got it. Like I remember I was talking to some person and I was like, I didn't know that he just wasn't playing until the fourth quarter, and that or I didn't know he just wasn't hot. I didn't know it was like he just wasn't on one. No, he like every fourth quarter he just has that in him, and I haven't seen that since. Y'all gonna call me a Glazer, and maybe I am. I do want Brunson's babies. I ain't seen that since Kobe. I've not seen that live, like really to like turn it on since Kobe. Like even Dame, like he'll do it in the last 5 seconds. But like, I mean, fourth quarter Dame. Let me not. But like, I've said what I said.
I'm trying to think of who else who just turn it on, because
right, whereas like as soon as the ball in their hand, you're like they're just gonna find a way to get that ball in their basket, and you've seen them get that ball in that basket. Because the thing about Jalen is, in particular, I think, and that's why I love his play style, like specifically, right? Like it's his play style you can for sure actually take to your LA Fitness, because what he's doing, like he's just getting to an opening, right? Like you can tell his practice is not a specific move; it's a specific area. And like my ball just gotta be in my hand, and now I'm gonna I'm gonna contort my core and my body to get it there, and that's so much harder to defend because y'all are both playing two different games. You trying to stop him, he trying to get around you. He's not even trying to get to a spot, which is why it's so hard to time it, because he's looking for whatever space you're gonna give him, and you have to give him space even when you Wemby, because you cannot be everywhere at once. Yeah.
And then the other thing with Wemby too, because I said this from jump, is that last night was the exception. Had Cat not have gotten into that foul trouble, I don't think it would have been the exception. But I said if the Knicks are going to win this game, Cat got to be the best player on the floor every single night, and he has been. It's just why again if you want to chalk it up to youth versus experience, but Wemby has not been able to stay in front of Cat. He just hasn't been. Cat has been blowing right by him, and the only way that Wemby has been able to handle him is on the recovery, but he can't stay in front of him. And not only that, and then Cat's bodying him up on the other end, not allowing him to get on his block.
No, yeah, that's for sure. I do agree that Cat has been handling Wemby wonderfully. I also do want to highlight the fact that he is having help in that Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby being able just having the staff capacity to like switch both within the half court defense, but also like in all man-to-man coverage, which sounds like football, but it's whatever. Because like I the thing that did OKC in was the fact that it was just Hardenstein. It was like, and I pointed out time and time again that like
had just had a piece of a heart, just a piece of a Zelda Link to the Past heart, not even a whole, just like a little fourth of a
shard,
just a shard.
Like just a bit of a
New York series,
a canine tooth, like, and I pointed out like the Knicks have canines in spades. They in fact have copious amounts of dog in them, and more importantly, they have the bodies. Like when you just looked at the weights between between all of them, like from small forward down, everybody is over 230. Right, like Cat's like 265 or some shit like that. Those are big bodies, not only to have to deal with one possession, but over every possession that wears you down, and that's gonna wear down Cat too. Like Cat's doing as well as he can because he is allowed to take that break. If he does get into foul trouble, he knows okay, OG can actually handle him just enough until I can get back. And I was wondering how they were going to deal with that because the Spurs did not have an answer to that. Going back to our Cornet point, right? So that's I'm agreeing with the point, but I want to add that wrinkle that like I think it is the being able to do shifts on Wemby that we're finding out is obviously the best way to deal with him.
Exactly. In a lot of ways, and this is why in the Western Conference I said that OKC was going to wind up coming out on top. Is a lot of what we're saying just boils down to New York having more bodies to rely on. San Antonio runs like 6-8 best deep into their bench, and then
they get away with because they're young, right? They
get away with what they're young, and they're all wings and guards. You only got one big that you really are able to play, and he winds up being unplayable. So that's why I was thinking that OKC was going to come out on top because they had the deeper bench. They had Lou Dort. They had Isaiah Hartenstein. They had Chet Holmgren. They had 3 bodies that could play in the front court, but one of them just got the heart of a Barbie doll, the best one of the 3, and that's why they wound up losing.
Yeah.
What we are seeing the Knicks do to Victor Wembanyama is what the Oklahoma City Thunder should have been able to, but weren't because their all-star defensive player of the year, 2nd overall pick, was scared of a Frenchman.
And you know, I don't have a good French pun for that, but I mean that's well, okay. That's really the past. I got a question about the future. Thinking about, if you're Wemby now, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I've never really thought about the flagrant foul rules until suddenly they became very important to everybody else in the NBA. How are you playing in Game 5? Right, because it's been working for you to be physical, right? But
I'm playing like I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, I mean, if you get suspended, y'all finna lose anyway. Yeah,
it don't matter. You got to, like you your back is up against the wall now. You got to do what works. You got you. This is so. First of all, don't punch niggas in the back of the neck. First of all, all right, like
try, just
like please, just try, dog. Like come on now, don't punch niggas in the back of the neck.
Adam Silver sitting there being like, bro, come on, I only got so many passes for you, bro. I can't keep. Come on, bro. You can't. They gonna know. They're gonna notice.
I was like, dog. I was like seriously, like, come on, like, what are we doing? We did, and let me say this, right? Because everybody is going to make set. Listen, the officiating in this series has just been all across the board, has just been inconsistent at best. It's just been weird. It's just been strange. It's just been weird. Like that one of the fouls that Cat got called on. Wemby had his arm hooked in the breadbasket from the gather all the way up to the release of the shot, and that got called on Cat. It's like, so there. I'm not even gonna go through all of the.
Bro, I had people watching the game with me and like asking me, like, you, like, the worst part is like being a hoop head, like a person that doesn't watch the game, now suddenly asking you like, okay, so why was that a foul? And you got to be like, well, you see, contact was established, but like we don't usually call that, but I guess. And then, to be honest, because I'll go out and say it. I've said it on so many platforms. I'm not even gonna act like I'm trying to hide it. But my tin hat, not even tin hat. Let's be real about the meta. Let's be real about the meta logic of NBA refereeing. I do think they are using this postseason to figure out how they're going to officiate or what rules they need to change or amend or add now that Wembanyama is in the league. I think they're trying to figure out what to do with that, and it became such a big problem in the Western Conference Finals. They were like, okay, like I think it's just better if we just kind of try to hash it out now for the next regular season, because it's only going to get worse from here. He's probably going to be in the league for 10 to 15 years, and that's why we started seeing the inconsistent calls, because like they just were seeing things they hadn't seen before. But also a side effect of that, here's where my tin hat comes from, is that like I think we also need to sort of accept that the way refereeing works is that when the ref feels bad about a ticky-tacky 50 call,
and that's like, what I was saying.
Right, their job, like part of the finesse of their job is to try to equalize it on the other side. And like I feel like they're all stacking up. Like you're both testing out new ways of calling things with also trying to make it even with people. So like we're just seeing the simulation way too clearly. And the reason why I have to articulate it like that, because I guess I want to know how you feel. Like I guess I'm sympathetic to the cause. Like I understand this, like somewhere along the line, it probably is reasonable for them to figure out how they need to change their calls with a body they've never witnessed before, but also they're doing it during an extremely consequential time of the NBA postseason, and it feels like it's tearing apart the integrity of the game. Like when the announcers themselves are like playing every replay, and also we're stopping the game every 30 seconds.
It's the reason, like I get it, but my thing is like you got to be consistent over the course of the game. It's like, over the course of the game, what is and isn't a foul changes.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and that's what I think it makes it so. Now people get in the conspiracy theory that Vegas made a call in the silver. It's fixed, and it's because y'all are not consistent over the court. Like if you're gonna let them play 90s ball, then let them play 90s ball from pillar to post. Don't decide, or even from it. It's not even like, all right, as the game progresses, because even though we're talking a lot about the Western Conference series, but that's because that was when the foul stuff became like a big talking point. They would, as stuff would progress, they would say, all right, now we're going to start calling this a little more by the letter because y'all getting out of hand. This series, it changes from possession to possession.
Yeah.
It like you will see like something that very clearly gets called, but then don't get called on the other end. But then y'all decide to make it up later on because you say, at that point, you just gotta let it slide. Like if you're gonna let them play 90s ball, let them play 90s ball, because then it just makes y'all look crazy. Now, because like we had said earlier, if you really think, because really this series really comes down to like 2 minutes in totality. 2 minutes in totality, and the record would be completely flipped, right? So if that were the case, what would we be talking about right now? Is that the fix is in for San Antonio. They want Wemby to be the new face of the league. They want Wemby to be the new Kobe. That's what the story. And whose fault is that? That's y'all's fault for not being consistent with the foul calls. So in a way, y'all kind of lucked out that it turned out the way that it is, because if and more than likely when, I'm just going to say when, the Knicks wind up taking this thing home, we're going to forget all about it. But if it were the other way around, we got another Tim Donaghy situation. We got another, Phoenix and whatever. We got another
the Trailblazers. Speaking of Portland,
yeah, we got another Heat in 06 situation where it's like, where you when D Wade was shooting like 20 free throws a game. And that just becomes the entire talking point. That now we got to put an asterisk next to it, or niggas decide that they're gonna put an asterisk next to it because
Did you notice that when they were like, this is the largest, when they called it the largest deficit, they were like excluding the 2020 bubble bowl?
I did.
I thought that was funny as fuck. I was like, well, damn. I intuitively got it, but I was like, you know what? That's judgment.
I thought I did. I'm not even gonna hold you. I did think that it was shade at first, but not like intentional shade. But then I said, oh wait, I mean, well, technically nobody had a home game. Like, okay, that's how I thought about it later on. It's like, technically they was all playing in Disney World. So okay, I get it.
I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even get there. For some reason, I was like, I'm sure it makes sense somehow. But that's so funny. But yeah, I think I did cut you off, and I realized I
don't even remember what I was saying.
Somebody said Silver went 7, and I clocked that. Like, yeah, oh right, no, here it is. There we go. I wanted to take your thought one step forward, because you were like, they got lucked out. Not only did the NBA get lucked out, I almost feel like the Spurs got screwed, because we're seeing, and like Hollywood Reporter had an article come out today that talked about how for the first time since the 90s, so since the Jordan finals, the NBA viewership ratings have reached the same amount they were during like the 1995-96 finals. Like, that's how many people are tuning in. And like, so everyone is watching how to solve Wemby and the current iteration of the Spurs. Like, after game 2, I was talking like, okay, cool, maybe it's not your time, but you're going to come back better than ever. Like, it's still unstoppable. Now, the rest of the league is on notice. There's like a way to disrupt, right? It might not be so much. It might not be all physical. It might have to be physical and mental, and it might be also taking shifts. We might have to have a socialist strategy to deal with the Wemby Titan. And like, I can see you like, we can now have a more interesting discussion about like what teams have to personnel to like actually have a formula or have a strategy against Wemby. But especially because we have such a big era of not training bigs to be traditional bigs, but there are still traditional bigs, surprisingly, honestly, on the bench, right? Like a lot of teams are getting stretch bigs as starters, but like a more traditional big as a backup. So maybe now they have a lot of utility. And like, okay, cool. Like, we just need some person who neutralizes Wemby roaming around like a safety, because he got no mid-range. He got no mid-range.
We might see a return to like what was my man that was in Indiana and he had like brick feet. Oh my god! But Hibbert. We might see a return to that kind of big, where it's like, I just need you to be a body. That's all I need you.
I mean, Rudy Gobert. How many times Defensive Player of the Year? But like we always treated him like a unicorn, right? Because everybody was like, oh, we're all gonna build Chets, right? Like Giannis worked for a reason. Sometimes just go get you a big body and tell that nigga to be in the dunker spot. Tell that man to go get a board. Like it's okay. And like I do enjoy that like they're more mobile these days, right? That I think what perhaps is the more interesting thing, there is like another like 7'5" like kid coming out like not France, but something I think coming out of America. But
I did see him.
Right, but he's built differently than Wemby. He's like wide, like he's like football big. I think it will be really interesting if he had lateral mobility. Now you're talking cheat codes, right? Mm-hmm. Like you got a person that fills up the lane, but he can also maybe actually like deal with a pick and roll switch out in a pick and pop. Can actually deal with shooting pressure. Okay, now you kind of got everything you everything that you need. Walker Kessler and Donovan Click. Wow, my ball knowledge is lacking. Walker, actually, Kessler, and this is what I mean. Like, it really do be like we treat them. These are all like C tier, D tier names to me. Donovan Clingan. Actually, I'm not familiar with Donovan Clingan, but chatters are saying that those are modern examples.
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know who these niggas are. I see Tyson. I see Tyson Chandler. I do know Tyson Chandler, and that's what I was. So the issue becomes then is that, you know, the part of the problem and the big reason why a lot of those, the reason why Roy Hibberts don't exist no more, the reason why, even though I mean he wasn't really defensive, he was offensive, is no. Jaleel Okafor is a whole different type. The reason why Roy Hibberts don't exist no more is because of how limited their mobility is. It's because of how limited their movement is. Again, we talking about a nigga who is 7'5", who got the footwork of a ballerina. Just because you're a big body don't mean you're going to be able to stay in front of him. Because again, if we're going to go back to, you know, if the cheat code for Wemby is putting a body on him, even Isaiah Hartenstein, as much effort and as much energy as he was putting into that, he started getting caught because he couldn't really handle him. All he could do was body him up. Now,
but that's why the key was rotation, though, right? It's shift work. The idea was like, because after Hartenstein got into foul trouble, the next big they put, like the caliber went down so much that's where the opening is at. The Knicks are succeeding because they can spread out that foul trouble between Cat, OG, and Mitchell. But yeah, keep on.
But Cat is not doing what Hartenstein is doing, though. Okay. Cat's not wrestling with him. He's wrestling with him, but Cat is not pulling jerseys. He's not pulling his arm down. But he's just playing. He's just playing solid physical defense on him. I think somebody said it up top is that every team don't got a skit for as much. And I hate, because I've always enjoyed Cat as a player. Not even just because his part of jersey is not my part of jersey. So it's like, you know, so that ain't even why. But for as maligned as Cat has been as a player, like his skill set is there aren't a whole lot of big men that can move and can play like Karl Anthony Towns. There just aren't. I think we've gotten spoiled by, you know, all of these, you know, unicorn. We gotten spoiled, you know, by Kristaps. And
I was gonna say, I was like, right. We would be killing right now, man.
I mean, we gotten spoiled by it, but I mean, I feel like this was the best matchup for neutralizing Victor Wembanyama. I thought that Chet Holmgren has the profile to be the type of player to neutralize Victor Wembanyama. He just didn't for whatever reason.
Well, no, I'm not going glaze, and like I was never super on the Chet train, only because like I just thought something was wrong with my analysis, because my eye test was like, okay, but he's not doing nothing. Like he just looked like under seasoned KD, but like both in skin tone and in skill level, right? The problem, or what I imagine people were saying, in my head, we were like, oh, like he can go with Vic, was like offensively, right? Like in a matchup between the two of them, is the fact that Chet definitely felt like the stronger 3-point shooter, and definitely felt like, I wouldn't even say had better handles, but like, yeah, really just felt like the more offensive player. And because we got to see more of him, felt more aggressive at the rim, felt a bit more athletic for his size, though that just doesn't mean a lot when you're dealing with someone who's 6'5". But you were like, hey, Chet could explode. I never thought Chet, looking the way that he looked, would be able to handle Wemby, even Wemby looking the way that he looked in his first year, like that skinny. Because like Chet just seems skinnier.
I mean, he is,
but I thought he
always wearing down on the. And then I guess
he left.
I guess I was thinking of it from the idea of, my expectation was that he was going to wear him down on the offensive end, which he didn't. Mm-hmm. Because the deeper you get into the game, the less that, well, I won't say the less that, we thought Victor Wembanyama is not, he's not the best conditioned player right now. He's just not. You can't play him no 40 plus minutes like that or whatever the case. And especially when the next best big you have on the team is Luke Cornett. So if you can wear him down,
when they're dragging him down on every possession,
right? So if you can wear him down on the offensive end, then you get back down on defense. He can't really give. Now he's got to start being judicious and picking and choosing. All right, which possessions am I going to, kind of take it easy here? And then that's when you attack him.
Facts. Wait, can you highlight Kira's recent comment on Chet? This nigga's 20, 13 pounds. I can comfortably back down this nigga Chet Holmgren in the post.
That is wow.
That is crazy. And that's what I mean.
How tall is he? 7'1"?
What? Bro, how does he not blow away in the breeze? That's not even, like, if I was an architecture student, I'd probably get a C on that design, bro.
That is a feather in the wind. 230 at 7 foot tall. 230.
Bro, that's the opposite of Ozempic, bro. Get that bro on that.
That is crazy.
Oh my God.
All right, maybe now we understand why he was getting bodied the way that he was. I thought he was at least had to be like 230. I
actually assumed that he was going to be like 225 or something. Like, yeah, right. Like when somebody's like at a certain height, you're like you have a ceiling, right? Like, right. To be honest, like if I hear you're 7 foot, I'm thinking you can't, like, your bones just weigh at least 200 pounds.
Well, I guess now we understand why he had that ACL tear. He is a string bean for real.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That unlocked a lot for OKC at least. My thing is, like, what is crazy is that I don't know how much sports you watching, but I've shouted about before. Favorite white boy on the sports side, Michael McKelvey. He did a video on basically like how tall can you be without like how tall is the game engine that its evolution supposed to let you be, and it was basically explaining Victor, because like most times when you get that tall, right, either you have low mobility because of all the gravity and the bone pressure, or you're really big because of like because you're tall because of like a medical malfunction. So like your thyroid super big, so you have like other things going on to make it so you can't be. This is how you get people that are like 8 feet tall. Like no one's supposed to be 8 feet tall. Like that's something went wrong. Turns out, so far we found out that the tallest you can be is about 7'6", as long as you also African. Like no, I mean like that is what the research said. Right. And like, it's not that type of podcast. I'm not going to go into why I think that makes sense. But like at that, like they observed, okay, at that height, your arms and legs can still grow in proportion with one another, which is why Wemby looks that type of weird tall. When it's like, when you see Chet, you're like, that's clearly a tall person because like the proportions look tall. But Wemby kind of looks like a normal 6'8" person, but you like literally scaled him up another feet. And why I bring all that up, not to just Glazes man his features, is because that means I think he can put on size like a regular 6'8" person. Like, so imagine if he puts on Shaq like size at that height. And
he ain't gonna get Shaq big.
Okay, but like let's say LeBron, Dorian, during my Miami Heat run, like when he bulked up a little bit. I think at that point he hit like 285. Let's see how big, how heavy is Wemby right now. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 230, right? I'm gonna guess a normal size for what I think a tall person is. Yeah, he's 235. Yeah, no one, bro. He had 20 pounds on him, bro. 20 pounds and 3 inches. But yeah, like he puts on 30 more pounds of muscle. And then now we don't even got to worry about. We have to have a conversation about the mid range. He could just get what he wants.
Right, then he would really just be Shaq at that point.
Wemby's 240. Yeah, I don't believe that, man. Like I don't care. I don't care what Pop does. I don't care what the monks got. If the monks want to just slide in some PEDs, but put in like ashwagandha, y'all do what y'all got to do so you can come back better than ever. For what I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm just bullshitting just to talk at this point. But a question that I super duper have is a 2-part question. One, what happened to the summer with Hakeem? Bro made a big split. I ain't see no dream shake the entire. Well, I see maybe one dream shake the entire series, and like that's part of the issue, right? This reluctance to use that wonderful footwork in the post, but also if Wemby develops a skyhook, which like one, I would be shocked if he hasn't already started working on that since he was 16 years old. But like if he utilized that shot hook and perfected it, like would he even be stopped? Like could he be stopped? Right? Like if the kid gets a skyhook and can just get within 10 feet of the basket for his wingspan, just like and basically saying like if he could develop like Jokic, that also solves all the new problems people are now trying to solve for him. Because now people are like, okay, we'll just put bodies on him. We'll just tire him out. We'll throw lobs. Okay, cool. If he gets to slow down and just rise up, because now he has the mass to back down. Like now we kind of solved and made a perfect player. But I wonder, yeah, it truly will be a 30 for 30.
That would be that would be Joel Embiid with about 4 more inches on him. If you gave Wemby Joe's mid-range bag, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's done.
No, okay. I don't want to see him hit Euro steps. Euro steps. He's too big to be moving that fast.
Yeah, no.
I want a pro hop. I want a pro hop into a spin. Use those elbows for good. Honestly, go touch Shaq.
And the thing,
elbows are good.
And the thing, but the thing about it is that even then, it don't even got to be all of that. It's just just develop a hook shot, develop a little shimmy, develop a little again. Give him Joe's mid range bag, and you pretty much you got to create. Well, I mean, you got to create a player now, but. As like people always say, what would happen if Giannis ever developed a jump shot?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now we're doing what it could have should is. I mean, hey, you know what? Here's my thing. Unfortunately, I have to abandon the Giannis effect now that this nigga be invested in crypto and shit. But players don't have to take multi-million contracts to go to a place. I feel like we forget this a lot. And when we talk about this Giannis sweepstakes, it's like, oh, well, who could afford like whatever Giannis would go for? If Giannis was a smart man, he would take whatever contract San Antonio would give him. Like that would be, and put him at the 4, and then have, going back to my Horns example, and just literally transport us all back to 2014, and just have the most traditional. Actually, the most deadly hybrid, because you would have 3 fast spread combo guards with a superimposing front court, and then you have the power of a vet on his basically last year out. Giannis probably got like 2-3 years on him, like realistically, to be any hope of being anything than a locker room guy, really. and basically run the same energy the Knicks did. Be like, okay, cool. We have our sensei, we have our prodigy, we have our supporting cast. But I would imagine Giannis would take a severe pay cut to do that, and that's why we all know that's not going to happen.
NBA players are built different.
You think so?
NBA players are not. Maybe if this was like 10, 15 years ago, but NBA players are not built to chase rings like that no more. They're just not. Again, this Knicks team is an exception.
I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying.
And Giannis already has one.
Yeah, I think the reason that he got his
different. Right. It'll be different if he never had one. Mm-hmm. But I think that the average NBA player, if you gave them the choice between a ring in the bag, and let me rephrase that. The average NBA superstar, if you gave them the choice between the ring and the bag, they'll take the bag. I don't think ring culture in the NBA is like what it once was. It's not.
That's interesting. I disagree. I think I disagree, but only slightly. I think I disagree with the population you use. I think a superstar. I think if you are big enough to think about negotiating a max contract, if you're big enough to think you could be a franchise of a team, you do care about rings because you feel like it might be part of your job. And therefore you think you have access to a resume that would be not improved, if this makes sense, but what would be in question if you didn't have a ring. Does that make sense? It's like if you're the opposite is the people that I actually think that you're referring to, or that I would agree that probably wouldn't care. They choose bag over a ring. When you're a role player and you perhaps feel like, okay, after I retire, like I don't think anybody's gonna buy my jersey anymore. I don't think I'm gonna have like any sort of niche fans. This is like a job to me. And from that perspective, I can understand you being like, well, winning a ring, it's not up to me. It takes 13 other people plus the coaching staff plus luck. So like trying to trade myself into a ring, I probably can't do anything about that. I'll take the bag. But I feel like superstars.
I say that because I feel like the player empowerment era kind of diminished. It kind of took the shine off of ring culture to when it became just so, because look at the way that we talk about KD, right? Look at the way we talk about Kevin Durant. I think that specifically, I think really put a damper on the whole, because it's like, all right, if we can just assemble a super team, then all right, of course, nigga, you want to get a ring.
That first though.
I mean, but again, we talking about, but it's narratives though. It ain't. We talking about kayfabe. You know, I mean, we talk about narrative. We talking about
I kind of hear what you're saying, but and I'll let you. I'm just gonna throw in a complication, but let me know if your explanation can still hold it. The thing about if you're gonna throw a narrative in there, thing about KD specifically is that he did not feel in our narrative like part of any of those championship teams that he the driver of the championship teams that he ended up getting those rings for, right? Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy because I can say the same thing about Jeremy Lin, and that's a little different, but actually it's the same, right? Like it's crazy that KD feel like a Danny Green as far as like his contributions per what you would expect, per expectation on those rings, and that's why they feel cursed and fraudulent. Because like it does very much feel like something you would do, whereas like, okay, I'm never gonna get a ring, but let me just do my version of riding the bench, which is when you're KD, if you aren't the leading scorer, right? If I don't feel like you're running the offense when you got your ring, it does feel like, okay, you took a back seat and you weren't young enough for me to feel like you were supposed to be taking a back seat. Does that mean if I'm KD, I'm choosing to tough it out in Brooklyn or OKC by myself to get a ring? Maybe not. Right? Maybe I care about a ring that much. But this is different than LeBron, where LeBron went, even when LeBron made that super team, it felt like LeBron led that team, led all of his teams to rings, which made us feel like, okay, he just needed better cast members instead of feeling like, oh, he signed on to a better company. I don't know if that makes sense.
So my counterpoint would be the bubble. It's because we always, well, not with, but it's and I think a big part of it also has to do because, all right, so for example, to bring the hip hop kayfabe conversation into this, and shout out to Open Mike Eagle, but I always remember this point that he had made when I was chopping it up with him about the Boogeyman video, is that we got to be honest with ourselves. We're talking about hip hop, about how much of these lists, these narratives are created by and for the casual white listener, right? So we got to be honest with ourselves about how much of these narratives are being driven by the casual hoop head, which generally speaking is not as knowledgeable as like the casual football, the casual baseball, the casual any other watch. Generally speaking, most niggas that watch hoops don't really know what they want. They watch the whole game.
Another day, because compared to baseball, we really have no excuse.
We have listen, some niggas be sitting up there talking about, they know all the numbers,
they know they minor league numbers, they college numbers.
They know every single left-handed, southpaw pitcher.
And I know you're more of a football person, but I mean, and I guess like kind of football, I'm not gonna give football more credit than I know they're supposed to be due. So you can fight for them or not. But like, at least I assume in football, y'all do seem to actually understand what a coverage is. Like y'all can, like when y'all like the casual football,
like I mean,
might not know like what it's called, but like they might understand the number, like a 4-3 or what zones are supposed to do. I'm not gonna I don't like football as much, so like even I struggle with that kind of stuff.
It's like so like. Generally speaking, if you ask a football head, if you tell them, or if you ask them what's the difference between like earlier we were talking about zones, right? Like the casual hoop head don't even know what you're talking about.
Which is crazy.
If you ask a football watcher, explain to me the difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 alignment on defense. Oh yeah, I know what that means. That means 3 linebackers, 4 down linemen, or the opposite, or explain to me, what's the difference between nickels and quarters defense. The average football, they might not understand the purpose. They might not understand.
Okay, why. Yeah. So that means the casual hoop head, we can put them at the bottom of the rung because like you try to talk to, and maybe. Yeah, and maybe it is because I played competitive for a long time, like through high school and club, right? But I also feel like plenty of football people don't play in college or even play on their high school team and like pick up some of this nomenclature. But yeah, like you ever been in a bar, or I've literally been in a bar, like ran into a person who says they're a hoop head and like tried to explain a Spanish pick and roll, or like some like even just a regular pick and roll, like the option off pick and pop. Like a pick and roll they might get because they've heard that enough time, but like a pick and pop lost them. And I'd be like, yeah, what does that even mean what does it mean to be a casual fan? There aren't even that many casual fans of basketball. Here's the better hot take for you. There aren't that many casual fans of basketball. There are casual fans of the NBA. And the NBA is a WWE variant of basketball.
Yes. There is a very large, because Kira said it right now. They said they called him a sicko for knowing college players, right? There is a very big, matter of fact, I'll go so far as to say that the majority of NFL watchers watch college ball. They know when they talk about such and such a player, the majority of NFL watchers have been, well, maybe not, even if not watching, have been paying attention to Eli Manning since he was in high school. They have been aware of, not Eli, Arch, have been aware of Arch Manning since he was in high school, right? That nigga is going to be what, 20, whatever. My point being is that, so, and also because I think, so the intersection between the the watchers, right? Because the NBA is marketed different. The NBA is built around its players. Football is not really built around the play because you can't see them. They got helmets on.
Right. And also going one and done is like is much more frowned upon.
Right. And football is marketed based on regionality. It's marketed based on, oh, you grew up over here, so this is your team. Oh, you live over here, so that's your team, right? Also, another part of it, I think, is because basketball is a sport that's just a lot easier to just pick up and play. You can just pick ball up, you get your friends, we get our friends, and then we, just go play, go run a pickup game in the park or whatever the case may be, right? Football, I mean, you can do it, but
you need gear.
It just look crazy,
actually. Right? Yeah. I mean, it looked crazy like you in the hood. Like, cause I'm like, niggas did play tackle on the grass, but it was mostly on concrete tag and mostly. Oh my God! I mean, leave it to us to the socio-political lens of this, because I just quickly want to say it's crazy how football kind of sits weirdly in the middle of this like wealth class intersection, where like people tend to think, ironically or paradoxically so, like, how come there ain't more niggas in tennis? Like, why don't we have more Serenas? When you think about how like there is a tennis court at every basketball court, and tennis is one of like it only costs the racket and the balls. But then you find out if you want to be actually competitive in tennis, not even good, just like compete, you have like it costs more like golf prices to be into the world of tennis than basketball prices. Whereas football, kind of like in a weird switcheroo, class wise, it's something that's very what's the word? Populist, I guess you can say. Like, most people have access to the knowledge of football, but in order to actually play the game of football, it takes a heavy financial investment. So it's like, I actually don't have a way to land that plane, but it's like interesting. It's like even though more, I guess, working class people play football, it is like more expensive than basketball.
And then football is more. I don't know, because niggas in the hood play football, country niggas play football, everybody plays football, right? Where basketball kind of has like this perception of being urbanized. You know what I mean?
I guess that's true. Because you would think if basketball is the cheaper sport, more people in rural areas, like all you need is the hoop, is the ball in the hoop. But there's also more land out there, and like football is like next to like godliness down the south. So there's also
it is. Football is a religion down south.
Yeah,
especially college ball. Like college ball is. Oh my God! It is. You go some places like I know that I haven't been to Texas yet, but I heard it's crazy in Texas. But I've been to Florida, and I have seen the high school stadiums in Florida. And oh my God, it's the money that gets spent, because I don't know, it's a bunch of socioeconomic. I don't even know how we even got to this.
It's partly my fault, but you did bring up how you just brought up a really interesting point on like playing football. Like in basketball, you can just pick up and go. Why there might be more casual fans.
So what I was gonna say was even because I remember like even when we'll be playing football in the hood on the blacktop, whatever, right? Like y'all get together and say, all right, this is what we want to do. I need you to just run blah 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 blah. I need you to then run and then cut in the middle like this
on the football like this shit.
Right, yeah, exactly. So even though we didn't realize we were doing it, we were strategizing. We were learning.
That's facts. Yeah, like you have to run the post or run this fade. Now you're gonna use what you hear.
Like how many times have I
said niggas never say run this pick and playing pickup ball. Niggas never run a zone and pick up ball.
Nope.
Don't nobody.
Like how many times have I said this about how it irks me so much when niggas assume that because you're uneducated, it means you're stupid. Well, no. Some of the smartest niggas I ever met in life didn't finish high school. You know what I mean? there's a difference between, because you got a lot of people who got the language but don't know what they're talking about. But you got people that understand the concept, but they just don't got the language. 100%. Just because, like, you're telling me to run a go route, you just don't have the language for it. You're telling me to run crossers, you're telling me to run a mesh concept, you just don't got the language for it. So by the time you move up, it's like, oh, okay, so that's what that was called. That's what this is. That's what they, and then it just transfers over into the way that you talk about it.
I really wish we would bring it to basketball, bring that more to basketball. I see it on NBA on TNT, whichever one got Blake Griffin and them on it, and like Dwayne Wade. Like they be trying, because even to me, it took me a while. I feel like my frontal cortex, like it got 2% more solidified the day I was like, you know what? One day I might want to coach my niece's basketball team. Mm-hmm. I wonder how you go about learning how do you explain this stuff to kids? Because to your point, that's why I think it's a very insightful thing that you said. Whereas like, you know, the concepts. Like if you watch the game enough, you understand like the physics of basketball. Mm-hmm. Is like, well, if the big guy goes ahead and plants his feet over here by the free throw line and somebody goes over it, that usually causes some confusion. There's an opening somewhere, and I have like 2 or 3 options that I can go through. And then you find out, okay, this is called a pick, and you have a dump, and you can do a direct dribble handoff. And I feel therefore makes me wonder. Okay, actually, other way. Even when Tom Brady on Fox and has to explain stuff, they are breaking down the sport that way. And it is a little bit because I guess because the demographic already has a bit of the language. I wish they would do that more during the games. If only to be like, here's the playbook they run. Here's the motion of the series that they're going through. So even if the people, because I'm never gonna pretend that I can guarantee people on the internet are acting in good faith. I only want your grift to be more entertaining or be more realistic, right? So if you go and bullshit me, can we at least do the bullshitting like with X's and O's? Can you like explain to me your bullshit take about how they need to trade Chet Holmgren because he fails to be in the dunker spot? Can you identify the dunker spot for me before you have your opinion? That's the type of gatekeeping that I'm not looking for.
Now to be fair, because let's not give football fans too much credit.
Okay, right? All right.
Let's not give them too much credit, because then football fans do this thing where, all right, so perfect example, right? So the whole you know Jalen Hurts conversation, right? About what he can and cannot do. If you actually go look up the numbers, he can and has done everything that the narratives say that he can't do. He just doesn't do it at a high enough volume to dispel the narrative, right? But because folk don't take the time, the effort to look into that, they just run with the narrative. They just run with what they. So what right, you wind up having is that a lot of people who know how to, they look at the film, but then they cherry pick the parts of the film. Like you saw this misread, but you didn't see that you got 2 niggas running crossers within 5 yards of each other, and they literally got to slow up on the route, or else we're going to run head first into each other, which throws off the timing of the whole play. That's so, what?
But I think that that's a conversation though, right?
It's a conversation. At least it informs. But what they do is that they take the part, because there's so much going on at one time, and I think that's also another part, is because there's so much to look at during a single football play. There's 5 different linemen that are doing different things. One could be pulling, the other one, a whole bunch of different stuff that's going on at one time, and you got to try to understand what's happening. And because there's so much going on at one time, it's a lot easier to just isolate this one thing that's happening over here and saying, that's why that play didn't work.
Make that a thumbnail.
That's why this play did work.
Do my Wojak face. Wait, hold up. For what Kira just said. Shout out Thinking Basketball for sure. Thinking Basketball is actually doing the work out here. Like, surprisingly so, there actually is a really deep like basketball YouTube scene. Like, I'm not.
It is.
Fucking Kenny for real. 3D. Like, if you're white, I guess like Rusty Buckets. Like, he's cool, I guess.
I like Rusty.
Like, I like Rusty. I think he's also a Celtics fan, which is the only reason why I'm hard on him. Who the fuck? Like, that's what I want to see more of. Like now we're just talking shop. But like, if we were ever to actually like do more like intentional collaborations, that should be the next place that like formerly known as Cornbread. That's where we should be spreading to. Kofi, whatever. Like, if we could figure out a way to just, I don't even care about any of our audience that wants to hop on the sports. I'd rather just convince sports audiences to come.
I'm a hip hop too.
You're right. You don't.
I'm a hip hop too.
You've never done.
I'm not a cornbread. I'm a hip hop too.
Hip hop and hip hop and basketball. Hip hop and sports. They go together like peanut butter and grappa.
And chocolate. No jelly, chocolate, peanut butter and chocolate.
The first take, okay. So not case at first take debate and ring culture have ruined the discussion about the NBA. Facts. I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm so glad Amazon and NBC got the broadcast rights. The conversation now feels completely different. I do feel like, I ironically, and I say this about Amazon all the time. That's why I fucking hate about Amazon. Amazon's probably gonna be the last billionaire to fall, because they're the only, like, he's the only person that does it the way that is the correct manipulation. Unfortunately, like, when he gets the asset, he does give the people what they want. And so I can't be mad at the specific thing. I'm just mad at it conceptually. And I do agree that like Amazon's taking over of the NBA broadcast has been substantially better. As is NBC. The thing about the first takeification of everything, someone can check my math on this, but I kind of feel like it also started around the same time as the financial crash, like the first remnants of it. I know a lot of people might want to take it more towards like 2014 or like
definitely before that.
But the reason why I'm saying this is like
was around when I was in undergrad.
No. Oh, I mean like the first takeification, like the Stephen Smith like populating everything. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is that I think we should remember that the first take talking style format grows as a result of the writer strikes that happen during the SGA during the SGA blackout, and they basically found out that, like, the only thing that we can't do that's non-union that'll get money is things that are impromptu and unscripted. So reality TV shows, daytime television shows were great, and interview shows like blossomed during this time. And that's just something to say, because there's part of me that wants to say it's the viewer's fault for accepting the slop a little bit too long.
It is.
Right. But but I also want to make sure we don't let like ABC, Disney, ESPN off the hook for not, like, because once again, Amazon vision, right? There's a way to make this deterioration much slower. Right. You could have been searching for more Stephen A's. Right. You could have took the role you were making seriously. And probably 85% of this is probably Stephen A. never wanted to leave. But like, you could have made us feel, imagine a world in which there are a whole bunch of sports analysts in college right now that want to be talking heads on ESPN. Right. Instead of like ESPN being like kind of a meme of itself, and people now saying like, oh, I want to do what Pat McAfee's doing. I want to do what Kenny for real is doing. Instead of like trying to be on this major broadcast, I want to make my own broadcast. They could have been operating more like an SNL. I still would hate that, like, from knowing what it was before. But once again, it's like it is a little less lazy and like a little bit more forward thinking. But I always like to remind people, like, the reason we're in this first take of everything is basically because of recession. It's because of capitalism.
Well, I mean, it's like gaming, right? Like, I was going to talk about this on the barbershop. I ain't never get an opportunity to, but I don't know how many of y'all are aware, but September is about to be a freaking bloodbath when it's Onimusha coming out, the Wolverine game is coming out, the new Silent Hill game is coming out, a new Warhammer 40K is coming out, because they all because you know what comes out in November, right? Is GTA 6.
Is it actually though?
Hey, they moving like it. Don't nobody want to compete with GTA.
Damn, do I need to?
So oh my what God. Winds up happening? Go after
me at PS5. It's crazy. Okay.
So what winds up happening is that you got all the people talk about, we want the games to take risks. We want the games to take risks. You quite literally cannot afford to do that anymore. You can't. You got the amount of money it takes to produce a quote unquote AAA title. If you don't got a guaranteed hit on your hands, even if you got a guaranteed hit on your hands, you still might get laid off. The standard is to go above and beyond. So I say all of that to say, are you going to take a chance on Kenny Beecham when he's a nobody? Or are you going to wait for Kenny Beecham to make himself into what he is today and just ride with Stephen A. Smith while he's a known commodity?
Can I give you a counter though? Because like I get it, right? Like that is the current logic that's being worked with in the system. But and like you can see a microcosm of this in our own arena too, right? As we start to congeal into a more legible like entertainment space, you're like we wonder, okay, like who can be the next X of X or whatever. And like there is a school of thought that says, hey, look, at the end of the day, we should wait till someone else on their own can build their own audience, and then we will simply adopt them and then help grow them more. But the studio system existed for a reason. That's my counter, right? Like the old way of record labels working with having having in-store in record label talent, Barry Gordon's system worked for a reason. And also like therefore was they also not to be all dark triads about it, but there was a benefit to the owner of the person that put this person on, or the person that put this person on in owning that walk to fame, or like walk to a larger audience that like also guaranteed brand relevancy, right? Like when you grow something from the start, it's indebted to you and also becomes part of your history that you can leverage whether or not that asset leaves you. Somewhere along the line, once New Money came in, we started saying we could just acquire things, but forgetting that like, okay, if you just acquire things, we never associate anything with your brand, right? Like even A24 is at risk of doing this. A24 isn't a studio, it's a production house. So it just like it just distributes things. And like, if they start just distributing a bunch of stinkers because they don't have like in-house quality control process, we won't even remember A24. A24 will be like fucking like 20th Century Fox. You're like, oh, they're just a thing that puts out movies, and the movies are the thing that I remember. So this is really for me to say, like, I don't think it's actually a good, like, the idea of waiting for someone else to build their own arc and then
it's not good.
I get it, right? But I think it's bad. I still think it's bad business sense, because of course what we're saying there when we're saying it's most profitable is it's best for short-term profits.
Exactly.
Terrible for long-term profits, which if you're thinking as a business person, like you have to weight those cash flows equally. And like to the big point, the thing that we'll both agree with here is like that's why all this media is crashing, right? That's why games take eight years to build, and then they end up still being mid to our expectations because you made us wait for 8 years, and then they still cost more than they did when you promised it was gonna come out 4 years ago. This is not. It's something that I'm afraid can't be stopped, right? Because you've actually already milked your reputation dry, and now all these tech companies, all these businesses are going to learn it's really hard to get trust back into the individual consumer, even if they start telling us, hey guys, if you guys like don't buy this stuff, like the studio is going to go down.
But well, that's because
bro, the Nintendo $80 now. I give a fuck about Mario Kart.
Well, this is what happened. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get ready to wrap up so I can put these kids to sleep. But this is the problem with as much as private ownership, blah, 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 blah. This is the problem with public ownership. This is the problem when it's a handful of grossly rich niggas that's able to buy up all of the stock or whatever. They're not thinking about long term. They thinking about they thinking in the same mindset that a private equity is how can we milk as much money in the short term out of this property, out of this brand, whatever, and then we take that money and then go put it somewhere else. They're not thinking about the long-term prospects of the industry itself or even of that single company. They thinking about how I can get as much money in the short term as possible because there's always something else that I can go and invest in. Mm-hmm. So now you done did it in so many different avenues where now they all dried up.
You done scammed so many blocks. You re-spent other blocks that you didn't scam before. Mm-hmm. You trying to find new blocks to scam. You like, damn, why everybody broke?
Yeah,
exactly. State area.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You done ran the price of the brick up so high. So there you had it.
Anyway, Nixon. I mean, I still sorry. Spurs in 6. I still, I'm still be a unk, and I'm gonna keep to my thing. Somehow Spurs in 6 still. Spurs, Spurs in 6, but OG Anunoby MVP.
I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna just go with it for the lows. Spurs in 6 somehow, some way. I don't know how it's gonna happen. They're gonna pull it out.
When we 30 game.
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. At this point, I just want to be over with because I'm tired of being mad.
I want a 7, bro. This is amazing fucking basketball. Really quickly, in case anybody cares, they do have San Antonio 65% win probability in Game 5. It is at home against Knicks 35%. So it's like it shouldn't necessarily be like a coronation. It's still gonna be a fight. But that's going to be honest, it's gonna be even worse, right? Like I don't know what I would rather. I kind of either want to blow out Game 5 and then have a Game 6, or like basically that's all I want. I don't want them to struggle and then ultimately end up losing Game 5 at home.
That's
over.
That's so I don't know how much like organized team sport you played, but
I played
that was always the worst for me. I'd much rather get dog walked and be by the time we get to the third, I'll be like, all right, I can start taking plays off now. I'm gonna start jogging. I'll cool off for now. I'm good. I hate that will hurt my soul so bad is to put in all that effort.
Because you don't get none of those plays back. Like I truly am like my heart goes out to like it's really how young the Spurs team is. Because I mean, you have to think about everything you lost, but like really, and this definitely closes. So I got out of here too. But like think about those last 2 minutes and being like, man, it like actually last 5 minutes because before like all the way up to the 2 minute point, you're still like we're in trouble, but don't worry, the clock's gonna run down, and then it'll be all a funny story. And then once you lose, you're like, wow, you don't get none of that work back. Like you don't get a win. Nope. Like you don't get it's 3-1 forever.
And the wildest thing about it is that you could feel that energy. I don't know how to explain it, but you could feel the all right. We just gotta run the clock out. We just got it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over in a minute. We just got what you could feel it, and it's like no. That's the absolute worst way that you could play the game. That's the worst way is when you start clock watching, you might as well wrap it up.
And on that note.
All right, y'all. This has been fun. We probably going to come back around when it's all not if it happened on Saturday because I gotta go to the Meadowlands tomorrow for my son's birthday. And it's the weekend of the World Cup.
Actually, it is.
It is.
Guess what?
Matter of fact, there was a game tonight.
I need to from now on. I will be extremely Nigerian. Let this be known. But I just copped a new phone. FIFA World Cup edition, and more importantly, that joint flow.
Oh, that's clean.
This shit hard.
See,
we finally got out the walled garden. I'm out the apple garden.
That's the problem. That's the problem with being Puerto Rican. Is that part Puerto Rican? Is that my team is still America, so I'm just not going to root for nobody.
I'm screaming. That's facts. Listen, you have no country. They said
I don't have a country. They need to have. Listen, I need to do a 23andMe or whatever, find out where my ancestor came from, so I could cheer for them. But that's the problem.
Listen, Niger will take you. Oh yeah.
No, they lose. You know what? I'm finna lie and say that my grandfather was Dominican or something.
I'm screaming.
So I can claim it was Cuban or something. So I can claim that's what I'm finna do.
All right, but thanks for having me, man. I always enjoy doing this. Like, I just feel like every time we do this, we get a step closer to getting our own like FM DJ radio show.
It's going to happen. It's going. Listen up, all of y'all that is still holding out on to the first of all, the joke it was never meant to be taken seriously in the first place. The joke of cornbread, it's over. It's done.
We did. The cornbread has been.
It's done. Niggas is tired. Specifically, we tired of y'all. We tired of y'all.
The cookout doesn't exist, but we had a meeting about y'all specifically.
To say that if it did exist, y'all niggas wasn't invited to begin with. It's done. We try. We as hip hop. We is normie content that just so happens to tiptoe into some observations every once in a while, but yeah,
y'all not invited to the cookout, but y'all can come to open court anytime. We might drop
there you go.
Knowledge.
All right, deuces.
Peace.